Welcome to the Forbidden City. Entrez-vous. Yeah. My name is Agusto Machado, and I'm Christopher Street Queen that witnessed and participated in alternative theater, which is off Broadway, and gay liberation. Agusto Machado did not exist before 1959. The name Agusto is taken from the Spanish month of August, and Machado is taken from China Machado, and she was a role model. So Agusto, the month of August, and Machado happened to materialize. And in the series of photographs and documentation, you'll see the journey from the mid-60s on. It was just by chance is that I naturally gravitated to Greenwich Village and went to all these wonderful events of poetry reading, dance, things at the Judson Memorial Church, and of course to the Chino and La Mama, but never in a million years did I think I could cross over to the other side of the footlights and be part of that make-believe world. Opportunity didn't knock on my door. Jackie Curtis did. Here's Jackie Curtis and me in a version of Vain Victory. Jackie Curtis, who actually reached out her hand and pulled me on the other side of the footlights. This is a beloved Ellen Stewart. I met Ellen Stewart in 1961, and I was very blessed that Jackie Curtis helped connect me with Ellen. I had been to La Mama and I'd met her, but I officially became one of her babies and helped grow old with a whole circle of people. We, of the large La Mama family, are thousands of people who have an opportunity to express ourselves in all aspects of the theater. I met Harvey Firestein at 16, and he had so much confidence. He came in Jackie Curtis's America Cleopatra on the Bowery. He was saying, I'm going to go up to Warhol and tell him I'm the next superstar. He pursued it to various venues, and naysayers said, who wants to hear about a gay male person and to pursue the life? And they did. It won a Tony for him in the play, and he has 4 Tonys now. He recently did La Cage aux Folles on Broadway, and he did Fiddler on the Roof, and of course Hairspray. 1970, first gay parade. With gay liberation, this was the first outward acknowledgement to a larger community that we marched up 6th Avenue to Central Park, and with a community of a mixture of people of color and with some women too. The Vietnam War, Black Power, and the countercultural revolution with drugs, and all kinds of drugs and acid and experimentation. And all through that, in the 70s also, New York City was going into a turmoil and an economic crisis. And so downtown during these years, it was hard to keep going, but we still did because we lived so minimally is that we could. And things were so bad that there were parts of the city, like Alphabet Land and so forth, is that they didn't have streetlights, because that part of town are poor people. Why shouldn't you just light the better parts of town? Through all this, art prevailed at the Judson Theater and that La Mama Theater for the New City, and many other theater groups sprang out. and reflected the political and social unrest of our times and addressed things Broadway weren't touching at all. Blessed. From Jackie Curtis, I went on to John Vaccaro and the Playhouse of the Ridiculous, which I met a whole bevy of fabulous people before when I saw his shows, but now we were doing things together, which includes Penny Arcade, who is globally known today. But from there to Jeff Weiss, who is known in our own community, and Harry Katukis, Jim New, Charles Allcraft. That's my Tibetan bell. This is my Day of the Dead altar. The 80s is about AIDS and helping our community when people lived in fear and actually moved away because they thought not only was it a gay disease, it was a neighborhood disease. But little by little, people understood AIDS is not a gay disease, it's a human disease, and all over the world, people get AIDS. So the 80s, for me, so much was doing community service work and visiting and helping people to the doctors. There were so many of us who did help and continue to help, and generationally, another group of people understood, and of mixed generations. It was heart-wrenching, or heartwarming rather, that people like Joan Rivers would deliver food in walk-ups to people who needed some human contact and some nourishment. And that, I think, was taken in the early 80s. Peter Hujar was a friend, and I did care for him toward the end. And he was a network of artists downtown that was the lifeblood of our community. And he only documented the people who were part of our family. And to be included is wonderful, but to know the man and the fellow artists is just, wow. Just a gift to everybody. This is 1996, Snowman Serenade by Charles Allcraft at La Mama. And this is Lavinia Co-op, who was part of the famous Blue Lips from London. In the 90s, it was a transitional time, and generationally, is that these older playwrights are writing for a peer group, and as we age, they are starting to write with us in mind being of a certain age. I did Sebastian Stewart, Steve Lotz, another H.M. Katukis, and I started doing the Charles Allcraft plays. We're in 2012, and we're able to comfortably talk about AIDS. It takes time of gestation, of acceptance too, and the subject matter does not offend or people. It's part of life and is accepted. Etiquette of Death was about AIDS, and so was two others by Chris Tanner. He always has a person afflicted with AIDS, and I was a nurse in 3 of them. I played a nurse who assists in the transition from life to death. Well, I'm very pleased that someone as young as Stephen Tash and Taboo considers me for some little production. That, I have that fashion show thing. This is a portrait he did. The first of this series is by Taboo. Suddenly, it's 2017. We're more theoretical, and because of the age, it's not the silliness of the times and the hope for the future. It is our future is here, and the social commentary of interaction of life, thoughts and words, and the sense of humor that evolved with our learning, life experience, is more mature. And I've been very fortunate to do the Robert Patrick play recently at La Mama, end of January, early February. It just amazes me at this point of my life in 2017, there are still art projects to do, and that I'm happy and healthy and able enough to do them. And I learn something new every day. And what I learned yesterday is this word that young people use called salmoning. It's like the salmon return before they die, is they go upstream and lay eggs or fertilize their eggs, and then they die. But I guess at this point in my life, I'm salmoning in some way, and I just am so pleased, and I accept whatever the universe has in store for me. And blessings and love to everyone.